My name is Ryan and I am the King of Booty Fab. And today we're starting on let's say we're starting on a unique project today. No, we're not doing another international. This one's Dustin's. But, yeah. How often you see one of these? Eh? What if I told you that the project was not just putting this thing, see, no front end. The front ends on these are ugly. So you know what we need to do? Yeah, that's what we need to do. So I'll tell you what, do me a favor. If you enjoy what I'm doing, follow the channel, click the subscribe bell. You enjoy these videos, you enjoy this video, like the video, drop me a comment down below. If you're on mobile, hit the hype button, because apparently hype button only works on mobile. I don't even know how these things work. I just say it because YouTube gives me the emails to try to help me out. But yeah, let's get into it. So before we can tackle our front sheet metal, we get this rear diff out because we need the rear diff for a Mac that we're building. And we have, where is it? Oh, it's over by the door. We have a Dana 80 to go in the back with some 19.5 Alcoa-ish somethings. Came out of a motorhome, so it's a 10 lug rear with a 5 lug front. They're matching, it just uses half the studs. But we want this 8-bolt stuff to go in a Mac that's sitting on a Suburban frame. You following all that? But we've never really crawled under this thing. We just kind of eyeballed it. So we were looking at it because we need to get this diff out and it's spring under. And we're like, oh, well, at least there's no rivets and there's only one bolt. And no other bolts. And the only thing really holding it on is that stitch weld right there. And wouldn't you know it, the other side's the exact same way. But at least it's been bridge notched to get it low, which, yeah, it's the wrong way to do that. See what they did is put a piece of 2.5 by 5 or 6 or something up here, and they stitch welded it, and then they kind of put a couple of fish plates there, and then they notched it. But you know, for anyone doing this, if this was the way you're going to do it, this is the side you need to fish plate, not the other side so much. The other side is already a channel. This side, right here, this is the, you need to bar. This is crap. It's bad, and it's not right. So, unfortunately, I think even with the Dana 80 we're going in here with the bigger tubes and, you know, about the same side perch, we may end up bottomed all the way out spring under because the diff is just physically bigger, which, you know, will probably help the fact that this thing was bottomed out, rubbing at ride height with flat tires. So, yeah, we got some work ahead of us. I mean, for right now, we need to get the diff in there and then figure out if we have room there. And we need to make some room there, which means cutting out this inner fender, and then on the inside of the bus, it's actually got a flat fender on the other side of this. We're going to have to cut out both because looks like they're only about a 1/4 inch apart. And then the front, well, the front should bolt in. It looks like 1-ton GM stuff with 10 lug and different knuckles and brakes, but yeah, we're going to do this first. Okay, if you're going to grind rivets off, punch them out and put bolts back in. Or, you know, weld the cross members, and preferably better than that, because that doesn't work. And maybe weld your perches, because yeah, yeah, just no. I actually never had to do this before. These were so stuck that all we were doing was breaking the tips off the spring, and so little relief cut. At least I took the tension off this side. Just got to try to not mess up this bracket. And I actually did it without messing up the caliper. Not that it matters, because apparently this thing came out of the bottom of the ocean. But yeah, we need to get these unstuck so this diff will actually roll. So when it goes underneath the bus, it's not just a boat anchor, which looks like it was used as one. Well, I had the diff all cleaned up. Old perches off, old shock brackets, all that fun stuff. Just got to buff the bottom so we got a place to weld. But it's going to take at least 2 sets of hands, and we got a couple of perches we got to cut. So we're going to go eyeball the front of this thing. And this is where it starts to get complicated. Now, lengthwise, this is actually pretty reasonable. I got to double check against wheel wells. I think this has to move back and measure wheel well opening versus hood. But I think we're actually in the ballpark, give or take. But quite obviously, the problem is this is way too narrow, or that's way too wide. One of the two. I have the cowl for this. I don't know if you'll see the video where this all came about, but there is a cowl for a Studebaker truck. It's in pretty good shape, so we got all the lines we need up there. So basically I need that on the front of here. And once that's on the front of there, it gets a whole lot easier, but that sheet metal is going to have to go. Some of that's going to have to go. Yeah, we're going to try and keep the pedals and the column intact, however that works. And yeah, I got a little head scratching to do. Front ends on these are wide, and it's going to look it's going to look crazy when it's done. I can see his vision, and I'm glad I get to do this. But yeah, I'm going to sit down with my coffee this morning and stare at this, because my rough measurements say the fenders are almost, or might be, wide enough to clear the front tires. Now, if the fenders are wide enough to clear the front tires, then it is purely the firewall that's the problem, and I can basically cut out the bus firewall back to here and transition that somehow into there, and then all this sheet metal just kind of does its thing. But if the fenders aren't wide enough, then I'm actually thinking, here's a grill, we could cut right up the middle of this, and these hoods actually looks like they unbolt right up the middle. Obviously this doesn't unbolt. Am I saying that? Oh yeah, I'd have to cut it, but I could cut that out, or I could put a spacer right here and not have to cut anything there. But if I put a spacer there, that changes the shape of the hood. There's some math to be done here. One way or another, either I got to widen the clip or I got to narrow the bus. And I don't know if I have to do it all. I need to get this all mocked up, but I'm just doing some basic measurements first. And we're going to throw the axle in, get this over to the shop over there, so that Yeah, this is gonna be fun. Well, we got the bus moved. Dustin's working away on something else inside, and I'm just let loose on this. So what we got going on is we've got the Studebaker cowl, and quite obviously the Studebaker cowl is not nearly wide enough for this. So my initial plan was to cut out the firewall. Basically, we'll rework that, nip this up the middle, section this out about 6 inches aside, and then attach that, widen the hood, make it all just perfect. But this is why tape measures are important. I went over and I measured the how far the fenders come out past this flange here. See the flange there? There we go. Those fenders bolt to there, come out, and I'm measuring about 12 inches. 12 inches past. I measured the outside of the tires, and I'm getting about 74 inches to the edge of the tread, so I'm allowing 1.5 inches past. Gives us 77 inches. 77 inches. So, measured the cowl. And the cowl is measuring about 53 inches, which, if I add 24, is actually 77, which means the Studebaker front end is actually the exact width it needs to be for the bus, which also means that this is the right width, which means this has to get, all right, let's go back to the tape measure, see if we can make this work. Okay, hold on, we'll stretch that out. Let's see, what about there? Yeah, so we're over 60 inches wide there, and this is 53 right here, which means, yeah, I'm gonna knock that. It should work out. The only thing I got to deal with now, I can make this work. What I need to deal with right now is I need to figure out how far inset that needs to be, because I had the hood lined up here, and the hood was kind of right just past the end of the frame, but it was quite obviously too far forward, because, you know, like if this hood's starting there, you can see wheels can't be there. So this clip is probably going to have to sink almost all the way to the firewall, which quite obviously takes away all kinds of footroom and stuff, but it's a bus. I'm going to slide the seats back. And this column isn't mounted the greatest. It's yeah, it's in there. The pedals are old. We got some stuff to deal with. But the first thing I got to do is I got to figure out wheel placement in the fender. And from the wheel placement in the fender, I can figure out where the clip goes. And when I figure out where the clip goes, I can figure out how much of this I got to cut, and how much of that I got to trim off, and how to make it fit. Let's just start cutting some stuff. Oh, God. Beautiful. Well, that's a big hole. It's definitely bigger than that. I cut back most of the way I can. If I cut into the floor, which I'm probably going to end up doing, I'm going to have to cut into the floor. And I clean up all that stuff first. Just because I think I want to take it all the way back to this post. This post is pretty structural. I could take the post out if I need to. We're going to have to see how this fits. And see if I can even like blend a panel in so that it looks, it's got to look like it belongs. That's the big thing. So it's time for me to go grab a bite to eat and process this. And then I'll throw that up there and start making some room in the sheet metal. Start trimming up this top. And kind of get it where it needs to go. Tack it into place with clamps or something. throw the front clip up and see where we're at, because before the front clip was hitting there, so we couldn't even see where the issue was. We couldn't get the front clip on when we mocked it up, so yeah. Committed now. I have this thing up here, and I'm going to put this tape. Here's the tape measure. Tape measures king. So I remember measuring, actually let's go double check. So, center line of this wheel well, it's right about there, right there, which is 16 and a quarter forward from that seam. Let's go compare this. Okay, so that's the seam right there. We got about 16 and a quarter forward from there, which right now we're about 11. So this needs to go back about 6 inches. No, 5 and a quarter inches. That's got to go back about 5 and a quarter inches. And that's got to go back at least 3 more. So we're probably looking at between 8 and 9 inches back. But I measured from here out to the flat. I know that's flat. So what I can do is I could actually take some reference marks. I could literally go straight back, because I'm going to make my cut here. I could go straight back, measure or mark my line here, make my measurements there, cut that section of the cowl out, cut this section of the cowl out, slide that back till it marries, and that's going to be my jumping off point. I think that's the best way to do it. I'm staring at this for a while, and I mean, I got all kinds of stuff out here I got to deal with, but we can't do any of that until that's dealt with. And since that's got to go back, I'm going to have to lose this all the way back to that post. There's just no two ways about it. So I think I'm going to make my marks while we're here. And I'm going to pull this off, cut that, cut that, cut that. And we're going to see how this mates up. Pile just keeps getting bigger. So my little car started out. I just started cutting pieces off of a car and putting them back together. Not enough here for that. Not here anyway. I mean, I can't really complain for the first fit. It's pretty good there. Something got messed up there. Skinny, fat. And trying to measure over top of the bend. Yeah, I knew I'd have to trim it a little bit more. That's okay. Looks pretty vertical. Oh, that line's pretty parallel to that line. Looking at this though, probably got to take this post all the way back, which I wasn't looking forward to. How's the floor look? Yeah, see, the floor could actually be made to work there. But I don't know how much of the firewall I'm keeping. In all honesty, I'm probably going to cut it right out and just replace it instead of using that stuff. But that angle looks like it'll come down. We can break into the floor. And there's that secondary panel below it. So I mean, that's an advantage. I think what I got to do before I do anything else is scribe a line across there so I can fix that cut. Just because I want to do that before I potentially bump it and mess this all up. And then move some stuff out of the way. Get the front clip up here. And how are we doing our line? There's a question. 16 inches. Looks about center. That's about the line we wanted, but another 1/4 inch isn't going to hurt it. So I think I got that about nailed. Yeah, I'll scribe a line and let's get a front clip on this thing, see how it looks. So I know it's all just sitting there, but wheel gap, well, looks about right. My gut says, though, that nose is a hair high, and I think, yeah, Dustin and I both looked at it and thought that we could just cut that 45 in the frame. Can you see that right there? Now 45 would be enough, but that is quite literally what's holding up the frame and scraping the rad support. So I got to take off another probably 1/2 inch, and I got to take it all the way to the bottom. Let's look from the other side. See how it looks. Pile of stuff everywhere. Oh yeah, that's definitely too high. Yeah. See the gaps tight there. You can see it getting gappy on the way down. It's got to come down at least another inch, so I'm going to end up having to take that frame off flush. But right now, yeah, if I drop that another inch, 1.5 inches, which is basically to the bottom of the frame, that should level out that line right there, which makes life a little bit easier and actually even helps that fender gap even a little bit more. It's not bad though. This hood sucks. I think we've got a better hood. This front clip looks like probably the best, except that it's chewed out there and needs a little bit of work in here. That side's almost perfect. This hood isn't the best one. I think we got a better one. We had a really good one for the front of the crew cab project that I don't even know if I put that video up yet, but this whole clip came from 4 Studebaker truck cabs that we tore down that had 3 complete front clips with one step side box, and there's parts going on this bus, and then there's a crew cab going together. So if you haven't seen that video, it's coming, and if you have, well, this is where some of the parts went or came from. But yeah, I'm gonna have to, ooh, I know how that one is. I think that that firewall even has to kick back a hair more, and it's already touching there, and I don't want to cut it back because that's the flange for the fender. So it looks like I have to cut some more floor, which gets even more complicated because that's a body mount down there, which I've cut basically flush to this body mount right there. There you go. So I'm gonna have to start getting creative here, because I need a little bit there, and I need a little bit there, and I need to cut off that, and then this will all sit pretty good, and that way tomorrow morning I can start welding that up so that we don't lose that gap. I can still manipulate that a little bit, get a few tacks in there instead of the clamps. Yeah, I'm gonna do some messing around tonight off video where I don't have to chase the video. Yeah, let's just do that. And I just realized that this video is already getting long. So what I don't want to do is stop in a weird spot and leave an absolute cliffhanger for a week. I'm coming back to this. Actually, I'm still filming. Like, by the time you see this, I'll probably be done the next video, but we're going to stop this here today. So this is where we're at. You can see all that stuff there. Yeah, this is going to be fun. It's going to keep being fun, and let's see how far. Unfortunately, I don't know how far I get to take projects all the time. That's up to the customers when it's not my stuff or Dustin's stuff. But yeah, we'll have fun while it's here. So tell you what, if you liked the video, click the like, share it around, drop the comment down below, tell me what you think, criticize me, you know, whatever. Yeah, if you enjoy the channel and what I'm doing, follow the channel, click the alert bell. If you're on a mobile, click the little hype button down below. Helps boost the algorithms, and it helps the channel out, because why not? You know, honestly, YouTube gives me a couple of bucks every time somebody watches it, or, well, not every time somebody will. YouTube gives me a couple of bucks a month, so hyping the video gets more views, makes me a couple of bucks. I get to throw it at my projects, which hopefully pretty soon I actually have time to work on. Because right now, well, I mean, I've been working on some stuff, painting tools and building some stuff, and I got to put a bunch of stuff together. So I had a blast. Thank you for tuning in. Made it all the way. Congrats to you. You have a higher attention span than I do. So I'll tell you what, thanks for being here, and I'm going to see you on the next one.